For this month's Megan's Minute, we're going to be talking all things kitchen's gadget. So you or a loved one has been diagnosed with a food allergy, and now you're going to be doing a lot more cooking and baking than you're used to. Let me show you some of my favorite kitchen tools that are going to help get the job done a little bit easier. Megan's Minute is brought to you by Allergic Living, and together we discuss things that help your life be a little bit easier if you're living with food allergies. Let's get down to the pile. Let's start with the handheld devices, shall we? I love this cookie scoop. I've had it for years. It's a really good release, and you not only use it for cookies, you can use it when you're making those inevitable birthday cupcakes, am I right? As well as meatballs, so this always keep it handy. Second, you're going to want a heat-proof spatula. I don't care what brand, just make sure it's one that you can do when you're stirring over the stove, especially like when I make my homemade caramel. That's in really high temperatures and you don't want one that's going to melt. It's also great for getting out like seed butters or honey or anything sticky. So handy. Again, I don't care what brand you use, just get an instant digital thermometer. It really gives you confidence if you're not used to cooking a lot of protein, so you know it's at the right temperature, as well as when you do things like make candy. And even my bread, I know in my recipe that I like to stick it in the middle to make sure that it's done, because sometimes you just can't tell if the middle is doughy or not. So it's so good to give you that extra peace of mind. Okay, let's talk pans. I've had this indoor grill pan since we had an apartment and we didn't even have a grill. It does have the edges on the other side, which honestly are giving out a little bit, but the thing that I use it for non-stop repeatedly is when I make my pancakes and my French toast, because I put it over both of my burners on my stove, and it just gives me more surface area than trying to fit them in like a skillet. And I like that it's not an electric one, so I don't have to worry about it being next to a plug or cleaning one that's electric. It's just really handy, thin, easy to store. Next, you're gonna want a really good sheet pan. I make all my cookies in this, my sheet cakes, and it even just doubles as servingware. Like, you just can't go wrong with having a sturdy one. You wanna have a good enough quality, a good enough, thick enough metal that the bottoms of your cookies are not gonna get done too fast. I have the Allergy-Aware, which also was this brand, not sponsored. I just truly love them, have had them, as you can tell, a long time. They're worn, but they still get the job done. I have found it makes a difference in what kind of muffin pan you have. I used to have cheap ones and the bottoms would burn all the time. This has been a workhorse for me. I make muffins all the time because it's a good allergy-friendly breakfast, because finding muffins that are gluten-free and dairy-free and nut-free and egg-free can be really expensive or hard to find, so I make muffins constantly. And this brand is USA Pan, and it's been stellar. When you're baking, I love these reusable silicone baking sheets. They make it very non-stick. You're not constantly having to spray things down. It also gives the cookies something to grip onto, so they don't go as flat, and washable. You're not using parchment paper all the time. It's great. Speaking of baking, a wire baking rack is so good for letting things cool because it gets the air underneath as well as on top. I also do my unfried oven chicken in this, so I can bread the chicken and I can stick it on here. So instead of the breading getting wet underneath, it allows the air so it gets crisp on both top and bottom. Inexpensive staple, really. Okay, we're working our way up the price point, but again, I am a cheapskate. I will admit it. And I've always had small kitchens, so if I have an appliance, it's got to be a workhorse, it's got to have multi-uses. I'm not someone that just gets every gadget on the planet. So if I'm suggesting it, it really is worth it. I actually used to have a Cuisinart brand that was like from the 80s, 70s or 80s probably, and it did so good. I now have a Hamilton Beach. I don't think I love it quite as much, but it just, there's something for the uniformity it gives you in the crumb, whether you're crushing up graham crackers for a graham cracker crust, you're making a sauce, or you're using the slicing function to get perfectly uniform potatoes. I won't make my scallop potatoes without this because then it bakes really evenly. There's a lot of uses for a food processor. You're going to want to have one. Here is the base for my Blendtec blender. I don't even have the top to put on it because it currently has a dressing sitting in it. That's how much I use it. Ice cream, smoothies, soups, pureeing things. This thing gets it done, as good as the commercials say. If I was to plug this in for you, you would see it's got a counter, and I've used it over 4,000 times. I've had it for over 10 years, and it really, truly is such a good blender. I can put raw carrots in it, and it will blend them smooth as can be. You can't tell, like, what little kid wants a smoothie with a little bits and flecks of stuff? Like, it's been through all my children. It gives them smoothies. I can throw hidden veggies in. It does the trick. Have you ever carried one of these? These bad boys are heavy, but it's because of the good engine inside of it. This was a Christmas gift for my husband, and my kids know when I get this sucker out that something good is about to go down. It is life-changing to be hands-free, to be able to turn it on and walk away or start doing steps of your recipe, moving on while it does the whipping, while it does the creaming. I make my cookie doughs in it, my batters, my frostings. I whip my plant-based whipped creams in it. You really will see such a difference. It's an investment for sure, but it will last forever, and it really makes cooking so good. There you have it. Those are my top tips for kitchen gadgets, kitchen tools. Having the right set of tools and something that can streamline, give you uniformity, help things go smoother, really make the kitchen and the cooking and the baking processes much more enjoyable. I remember when we were newlyweds and I felt like my kitchen is not stocked at all. I don't have any of the tools that I want. And so I made a list and I hung it on the fridge. And whenever we get a little bit of money or we'd save up, I'd cross one off. And before you know it, you will have a well-stocked kitchen. So if you're being forced into cooking, which a lot of us feel like, because maybe you didn't cook as much, you ate out more, but now that you are cooking for yourself or a loved one with food allergies, and you're doing more of that baking and cooking at home, treat yourself to some of these tools that are going to help you feel like a rock star in the kitchen. Be sure to check out my other allergy-friendly videos. We cover all sorts of topics. I do have some recipes on here, as well as like how to handle birthday parties, how to feed large crowds, how to trick or treat, all the topics that you will need to go over when you live with food allergies. Be sure to tune in next time. I will see you later.